So she said he did a nice job.
But a couple. Lately, like a couple have gone.
Yeah.
Like 10, 8 right now.
Right, exactly.
Call the meeting to order, please. Please rise for a pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please take a roll call.
Wonderjohn,
Here.
Tybor,
Here.
Buck, here, Gardine, here, Palmer, DeHaan,
Here.
Klein.
Here. Please note, as a courtesy to members of the audience and the Board of Education, to silence your cell phone. Public will be able to speak during public comment if signed up. Do I have any more forms? All right. Let's move on to our agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Next, on to consent action agenda. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? And then now on to regular action agenda. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve Mrs. Susan Engelbarts for a new 3-year term as a parent representative on PACE, the Parent Advisors for Special Education. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Yes, and Caroline Ernst is here to tell you a little bit about Mrs. Engelbart's. So, Caroline?
So Ms. Engelbart has a couple students in the district, and she has a student that receives special education services, and he attends Central Elementary. I've known her for a while, and Angie also recommended her, so it's a double recommendation for her. And so that is why I'm bringing her as my recommendation for a PACE parent this year.
Awesome.
Great.
Any questions or comments? All right. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are moving on to the reports and discussion portion of our evening, and we have something from West Elementary.
Yes, very excited to have some representatives from West Elementary here. You will see forthcoming as we move throughout the remainder of the school year. Many of the schools will be coming to present. So I introduce to you Mrs. Stacy Bile and some awesome kids from West Elementary.
Our fearless leader is on his way.
Okay.
We
Welcome.
are going to punch without him for the moment.
Welcome, welcome.
He's the boy.
Hello.
All right. So these are some of my amazing fourth graders. And we're here just to talk to you about the Amazing Shake, which is something that we are getting ready for. It will be in the spring. And we are learning skills that are going to help us in life. So what are some of the skills we're learning? Charisma. How are you showing charisma? You're going to be engaged when you're talking. Very good. What else are you learning?
Confidence.
Confidence. What else? Poise under pressure. What's something else you're learning? We're almost there. Presentation skills. So these are all skills that we can blend into our regular curriculum, like we need to present what we learn. We try to do with charisma and be engaging. We're also learning some really important skills, like how to meet people. We've been working hard on meeting people. What else have we been learning? What's the big one we've been working on lately? Answering the telephone. Yeah. And answering a landline telephone. We've learned that when you set the phone down, the person's no longer there when you pick it back up. So things that we didn't know. So we've been learning that. Our students are also experts at giving tours, so if you stop at West Elementary, they'll be happy to give you a tour. So my class is the first group that's been training. The other fourth graders at West will start training this week, and then our fifth and sixth graders will begin their training. And our goal is, in the spring, that they will be able to go up to a group of businesses, business owners, members of Mercantile Bank's a huge help with this. We invite any of you to join us. Yeah. There will be a competition, and our students will be participating in a bunch of little stations. Each judge will be at a station. One might be, you might be just greeting them, checking their handshake. The next one might be, you are receiving a cold pizza for my delivery people. And they have to respond when you're an unhappy customer. So we've been practicing that. One of the kids did that last week very well. They might actually have to answer the phone, you might be calling them.
Love it.
So lots of different things for them to practice just life skills. We're super excited about it. We're excited to bring the community into West. We had tried to do this before in 2020. Things fell apart that year. But we are super excited. We want to invite you to join us. And what we are going to do right now is each student would like to meet one of you. So go meet them. Just go meet one.
Hi. My name's Kim. How are you?
Oh, so what do you?
Thank you. So what do you like doing in school most?
All right, good for you. Do you have any brothers and sisters?
I'm Christy. Nice to meet you.
Science is
So what do you like to do in your spare time? You have any hobbies? Hello.
experiment.
That's cool.
So
What's
it's
your
talking
favorite?
about some physics then, huh?
It's good for you.
That's great. And do you have brothers and sisters?
Excellent. Awesome. Do you do the rocket program?
Yeah.
Do the rocket?
And tell everybody all the secrets, everything that you know about it, right?
Oh my goodness.
So West.
Family.
So you
I have
tell
sons.
us you guys are having a great time.
So it's fun, isn't it? It's a little crazy
You got
sometimes,
such a
right?
head start on everybody. You're gonna do awesome.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, but it's crazy fun.
Very
And you learn to share, right?
okay.
Yeah, that's great. That's another lesson.
What kind of things do you like to sketch?
Absolutely. Well, that'll take you far in life. It was so nice to meet you, Mike.
All right, my West friends. So one more time, we would love to have you. I will send you invitations and everything to join us.
I'm in.
I believe we're aiming for the end of March. We want to while it's still nice and cool in the building. And if you know any business people who would like to join us or anyone in the community, we're definitely excited to have lots of people join us. So, what should we say?
Thank you.
Hi, Lily.
Happens to be a professional when it comes to a cold pizza delivery. This week she was our champion for the cold pizza delivery.
All right. Yeah.
Excellent. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it. Bye, everyone.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, guys.
Come on in, Mr.
That's a late
Mulder.
pizza delivery right there.
That's right.
I can answer those. They wanted to be out of the
No. Where'd this idea come from? Where'd this idea come from?
Oh, so we have been kind of involved with the school in Atlanta, around Clark Academy.
Okay.
And they started it. Mr. Mulder gave me a little brochure about it. So we've been watching them. In fact, my kids have watched their competition, which is really high level, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
We're not going for quite that level, but the kids realized how cool that was. And so we started just practicing with the little things like how to meet somebody, eye contact. And then we've added more challenges. Shark Tank is our favorite right now. They actually watch Shark Tank, the kid version, so they see the kids, and it helps them realize what is charisma, what is good presentation skills. And so they're excited to get started and do that with Shark Tank. That'll be one of the stations. So.
Tomorrow they're going to learn how to walk into a meeting late and act like. No, we're very excited. It's a fun event to work on the soft skills and these little things that just are important in general and
Yeah.
and have fun with that at the same time. And also partner with some of our local businesses to bring them in and get a wide range of people. And couldn't ask for anything better. So I'm glad they did a wonderful
They
presentation.
did an amazing job.
It's almost
Yeah,
like
our goal is for the
Toastmasters
district
Junior,
to
isn't it?
run
Yes.
to do a district run.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're super excited about it. If we really take this further, we could take it to the point where there is a national competition where we could take our winners
Oh, really?
and they could go to Atlanta and compete in the national competition and really see some amazing things. That's my long term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got some work to do to get
We have a
there.
little
We're
bit of
excited.
work to do. but we'll
All right,
get
I
it.
didn't have a question, but now I do. You
Oh,
know I'm
sure.
gonna have
I
to
knew-
ask
I
a
knew.
question.
I knew you would. I
Yes.
count on you for that.
So the national competition, is it fourth graders or is it,
They actually
Multiple
start in
grades.
5th grade through 8th grade.
okay,
So they actually have their 4th graders do it kind of like what we're doing. They'll do the lower level, but 5th through 8th is what the national competition is.
Okay.
So,
all right.
yeah.
So is it then like an extracurricular activity, or I mean, how do they do that? I mean,
Oh, the national one? Or
yeah, or when they go into the competitions. I mean,
So really, we're able to do it, I bet I spend 20 minutes a week
Oh, really?
on it.
okay.
The rest of the time, I interweave it right into our curriculum.
Yeah.
So if we're doing presentations of what we're learning,
Yeah.
they learn how to track the speakers, they learn how to move their feet when they're talking. That's all part of just the curriculum we're teaching.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to embed right into the curriculum without taking up extra time.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, thank you for your innovation.
All right.
And I'll tell you that I think fourth grade is such a year that, personally, that I will never forget fourth grade. And I'm just glad that you are a teacher to our fourth graders. So thank you so much.
You
I
are.
think the other thing I tell people too is a lot of adults are scared to talk to adults,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then a lot of times we wait until the kids are in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th
Yeah.
grade to have them give speeches and they're a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
These guys are pretty,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, okay, we'll try it. We have a few that are a little bit shy, but if we can give them the skills of how to present and how to have eye contact early, it makes it so much easier as they go up. So.
Yeah.
Great.
You know, when adults do Toastmasters, I was just saying, like, people as adults are nervous to do all of that
Yeah,
stuff, so it's
absolutely.
very cool to see them starting this year. So good job.
Yep.
Awesome.
So if you're ever around West Elementary and want to tour the building, we have some experts in the making.
Yeah.
Yes.
To
Yes.
give a true
I love it.
tour and what that means and what all the programs.
Cool.
Nice.
Awesome.
All good?
Yeah.
All good.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Guys.
for being
Thanks,
here
guys.
tonight. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Yeah, thanks.
While they transition out, I want to take a moment to recognize the Grandville Public Schools marching band. I know it's not member report night, but I can't wait 2 weeks to tell you guys how great they were at the Michigan State Finals this week. And I thought I saw couple of our former band directors in here, many, exactly. And so if we can just take a moment, because they built the program. They were in phenomenal company at Ford Field this weekend and took second place. Jennison took first. We're going to have to work on that, got to get our neighbors. But Jennison, kudos to Jennison. It was an amazing program as well. Now we're moving to the public comment portion of our evening. If you've signed up, I will call you one at a time up. Speakers have 5 minutes to address us. They are addressing the board, not the gallery. Please respect them and what they have to say and stay quiet so that we can hear what they have to say. I want to remind speakers that they will get their 4-minute warning from Mr. Hybor, and also to keep your topics on board-related issues. And if you have questions, we cannot respond to them here. That's not the organization of a board meeting, but you can do a follow-up with us. We can have a phone call or an email, anything of that sort afterwards. And I know that tonight is the night before a really big day in our nation, in our communities, in our state, and a lot of you have elections on your mind. Elections are not a board issue or a board policy. They're a community issue. So we need to keep our topics tonight to issues that we decide on here. But I'm excited to hear what you have to say about those things outside of here, and that's per Michigan campaign finance law. So I just thought it was important to say that tonight because I know we have a lot on our minds as a community. All right, our first individual up, I'm so sorry, Chris, I cannot read your last name. There's Chris that signed up. It is wonderful. Come on up. It's okay. You are first up, and then followed by Michelle Thomas.
This was just brought to my attention today, so I'm a little bit unpolished with this, but I'm really pretty incensed by some of these titles in the book, in the library. And I understand there's a couple hundred of these titles that are sort of questionable like this, and you've offered to sequester them out off on the side. I mean, you guys are educators. You know how this works. Kids see that as a challenge. Like they don't see that as an obstacle. They see that as like just bait out there to go get. So I'm surprised that you guys, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you genuinely believe that the librarian is going to tell some 6 foot plus 17, 18-year-old kid to stay out of that adult area when he's not authorized. Some of the stuff in these books are just, it's just offensive and porn. I wouldn't stay in a bar that somebody was saying that to me, let alone, what does it belong in a high school? What's the agenda there that it has to remain in the high school? It just seems like there's an effort to sort of normalize pedophilia and a bunch of stuff kids don't need to have any opinion on. Let them be kids. That's kind of my whole thing.
Thank you for your comments, Chris. Our next individual up is Michelle Thomas, followed by Eric Fouch.
I don't have anything prepared as well. I've just heard rumblings about a topic called the Book Nook, where the KDL is going to be bringing books into our school. I don't know if that's going to be a weekly thing, a monthly thing, or if they're going to have a display set up. I'd like more information about that, and will the books that KDL is bringing in, will those be listed somewhere? Will they be in the online? Will we be able to look up those books? I'd like to know how that process is going to work. So that's all.
Thank you, Michelle. Just a moment while I take a note. Next up, Eric Fouch, followed by Tessa Jansma.
Hi, like my previous two speakers, I come totally unprepared. Wasn't even planning on coming to the meeting till I got like a last minute text from a group. But I represent Precinct 3 as a precinct delegate here in Grandville. And previously I served 8 years on the Gaines Township Board as a township trustee. I've been to several board meetings at the Kent County Board of Commissioners as well. So I spent lots of time on both sides of the podium. And a lot of people that I've talked to feel a lot of frustration when they come to public comment. They think that they're going to come to public comment with a topic and they're going to get something solved, or they're going to get it on the agenda, or typically they leave frustrated because they feel people weren't listening to them, they weren't paying attention. And just to let people know, this isn't the forum to get something on the agenda. This isn't the forum to get a problem solved. If you want something that you feel needs to be on the agenda, then you need to seek out some of these people on the board, pull them aside, get them on your side, and get a sympathetic ear, and you can get it on the agenda that way. That being said, I would also charge the members of the board that when you hear a reoccurring topic, like the hot topic these days are books that are in the libraries, in the high schools and the middle schools, that if I brought one of those books in here and tried to read it to you, you'd shut me down right away because it's inappropriate. You hear that topic often enough, then the onus is on you to put that on the agenda, because obviously it's what your constituency is concerned about. So it kind of goes both ways. If you want to get something done through the board, you need to approach it the proper way. Talk to the chairman of the board, talk to your representative on the board that you know, to try to get that on the agenda. And if you're on the board and you're hearing the recurring topic over and over again, that's something that you really need to take under your wing, put on the agenda so that it can be discussed, because that is what your constituency is interested in. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Next up, Tessa Jansma, followed by Ruth Rondon.
All right. My name is Tessa Jansma. Don't worry, I won't read the books. Tonight, I wanted to talk about your school climate survey that we're still doing. I had concerns with this when my son was in middle school. He's now in 10th grade. And now I'm seeing a survey that you guys are giving 3rd through 6th grade. And your first question on your survey is, what is your gender or gender identity? who is going to explain to I have a third grader, by the way, who is going to explain to her what gender identity means and whose definition really matters? Like, I might need a clarification on that one, because gender identity is the exact same thing as saying, I pretend. And if that's what we're doing and you're going to explain that to her, you need to explain it in that way, not how you feel you can flip-flop daily. Like, the morals of the parents matter. And that is a moral issue right there. You know our children's gender because we have to sign them up. So high school gets better. Your high school, your first question is, what is your gender identity? Not even what's your gender, just what's your gender identity? You got female, male, non-binary, transgender, or other, or I prefer not to answer. Now, obviously, the high schoolers don't really need any explanation on what these are. But again, why is this any of your guys' business at all? Why is it any of the school's business? Why are you putting it in their minds at such a young age that their sexual preference is something so dire? This is our first question. And you guys do these surveys every single year. This is disgusting. Like, this is something else. And then the next question on the high school one, which of the following best describes you? Okay, you got heterosexual. For some reason, in parentheses, it says straight, because our high school students don't know what that means, I guess. Gay or lesbian, bisexual, or I prefer not to answer. Again, why is that any of your business? Why? What? The morals of the parents, if we don't want our children thinking about sex, yet every year they have to do this survey to let you guys know what their sexual preference is beyond me. And it makes sense that we're keeping porn in our schools, because this is the type of stuff that you guys are doing. Obviously not personally, but you guys have an oversight over this, and somebody is approving this. So there's going to be a huge change happening here soon. And I really wish that moving forward, whatever happens with these elections, that we can just come to some kind of common ground and just do what's right for these children. Grandville is at such a high standard. I'm sure you all know that. Like, I went to Grand Rapids Public Schools. I know what low is. All right? Like, I've driven my kids for 8 years because I don't live in Grandville. But I really enjoyed Grandville schools. And
1 minute.
it's slowly fading. And it's sad. It's really sad. And to see nationwide parents waking up to the agenda that's happening, this ends soon. And you all need to decide what side of history you're going to be on, because this is nationwide. So please look at these surveys. Consider what you're asking these young children. Like, the high school one irritates my soul, but the elementary one, that's just reflaming my fire. It needs to be fixed. Thank you.
Thank you, Tessa. Next up, Ruth Rondon, followed by Julie Dahl. Ruth Rondon, followed by Julie Dahl.
My name is Ruth Rondon. I'm not prepared either. I just want to let you know who I am first. I am a human trafficking survivor. I was trafficked from age 15 to age 33. I was appointed by Governor Snyder to serve on the Michigan Human Trafficking Health Advisory Board in 2015. I wrote a book, my life story. I talk about rape but I'm not graphic. I'm very careful about secondhand trauma when I wrote my book. I also created an online human trafficking training program for law enforcement and for healthcare. I never wrote one for school. I know that takes a lot of work. I know that you all know that children are very vulnerable to predators and to traffickers. And I'm sure you're all interested in how we can combat that and empower our children and empower the teachers with age-appropriate training. I just want to let you know that I'm going to be sending you an email about some of the trainings that I have looked at that I really recommend. And then maybe we can have conversations about that later. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Next up, Julie Dahl, followed by Karen DeWitt Midgley.
Good evening. My name is Julie Dahl. My address is on file. 2 quick things I want to talk about. First thing is learning loss, and then the sexualization of these young kids. Learning loss, we've sat here in meetings. It's come up twice now. Several meetings ago, it was Dr. Merkel gave a big, long presentation on it. What is the plan for that? We send our kids to school for academics, not for sexual identity. We send our kids to school to make sure that they have a high standard at Grandville for academics, not to sexualize them. The priority right now seems to be reversed. There is a lot of learning loss that has happened over COVID. We can go into detail as far as who to blame, but that's not going to help. We hope the same things aren't going to ever happen again. Let's caution ourselves in case they do. But what is the plan to bring the academic standard back up to where it should be? And how are you going to help these kids who have fallen behind years, 1 year, 2 year, possibly 3 years? What is the plan? Why is that not the utmost priority at every single one of these meetings? End of story. That should be it. That is the priority for these kids when it comes to the school. I know you guys talk about mental health issues and everything. We all want these kids to be taken care of. We do. But you cannot take the parent away from that. The books in the school, we've talked about this over and over and over again. People laugh, people say, you guys want to ban books, all of this stuff. No one's trying to ban books. I've said this 1,000 times before. No one's trying to ban books. But when you're sexualizing kids and desensitizing them to it, we have issues. A lot of these books are not appropriate for minors to be reading without parental supervision. Again, end of story. The survey that's happening, again, why do you start with? Why is the forethought of somebody's identity their sexual preference? Why? What is the end game with all of this? Academics. School is for academics. Stick to the academics. We are falling behind. When I was here, I look at schools that were really, right in there with Grandville, East Kentwood. Have you looked at East Kentwood scores recently? Have you seen what's happened there recently? And that's 20 years, 2 decades ago. What is Grandville going to look like a decade from now, 2 decades from now? The decisions that you make in this room will have lasting effects in how you handle this learning loss that has happened. Please listen to the parents. Please don't just brush it off. Over and over and over again, these people come in and talk about this over and over and over again. The decisions on this board have affected my family directly. They've affected a lot of families directly. We want to come beside you and work together, but you guys don't want to hear it from us. It's incredibly frustrating, incredibly disappointing. Please make academics a priority when it comes to learning loss. Thank you.
Next up, Karen DeWitt followed by Beth Leggett. Midgley, sorry.
I'm not going to talk about books. Really want to talk about something no one's talked about yet, and that's pathways. I moved to Grandville Public Schools from Grand Rapids because I saw it going downhill and them not caring about my kids. And my older kids were okay, but my one son really struggled after his dad died. We moved. You guys worked your butts off to get him to graduate. His counselor worked with him so hard and made an exception and said, if you finish these classes and extended the deadline, you can graduate on time. And I just applaud her for that. And my other son, you know, I had to pull him for a year, do connections, and we moved. He said, I'm ready to go back. Did great. 8th grade, he had a great year. Toward the end of the year, my dad died. And he took it really hard, had a hard time, blew up at a teacher. He knows he messed up. And this is a really, really, really good kid. And they just said, that's it. We're making no exceptions with you. We're not even going to compromise. You go to Pathways, that's it. And so he sat over there. And they said, he really doesn't belong here. In 10th grade, they said, he should be back in Grandville. He should be learning. And it was just a big fight, meetings with the principal, superintendent, and they just basically like, no, we want him over there. So yeah, he'll graduate. Is he learning anything? No. And after 2 years there, and he was excited about going back, I just saw the light go out of his eyes. Now he doesn't talk about going to college anymore. He's over at KCTC, he's doing well, but Pathways is so easy, he's not learning anything. That's a mom, that just like breaks my heart, because he's a really, really smart kid. This is the kid that like, his brother's like, make sure he's not watching porn. No, he watches videos on why Toys R Us went bankrupt, or why Sears went bankrupt. Different things, how cars work. You know, that's what he watches, is documentaries. But all he got was no one caring. And when I said, I'm gonna talk about this tonight, he said, don't, because I don't want anyone to come down on me or to take it out on me. I'm not getting the caring for him at all. Pathways is way too easy. It's like, let's put him over there so our scores will still look good. And that's what we've gotten. And then I'll move on to my daughter, who has some cognitive delays. She was in the early education program. When she was about 3.5, 4, she still wore a diaper to bed at night. And she rode the bus. She was in the, I can't remember, but the special ed program. And one day I wasn't feeling good. She got up, still had her diaper on. She knows enough to take it off. Didn't. Wore it on the bus, pooped her pants, and they called CPS on me. They're the only ones who would have done it. And I had a meeting with the school, had a meeting with the principal, special ed director, and I kept saying, what is the policy on this? Why would you do this? How can I feel like I have this relationship with the school, or you're working with me when this is what you're gonna do? Like the guy came in the house and he said, why am I here? I have people who need me. I don't need to be here. And I asked probably 10 times before they finally said, oh, our policy is if this happens with a poopy diaper 8 times, something like that, then we'll call. Never got a call home, nothing. How can I have like this relationship with the school when that's what they had? They wouldn't even just say, you know what, we're sorry. And that's all I wanted was, we're sorry, we'll go check with someone and we'll try to make it better. And I don't think it's gotten much better in those areas at all. Where it's like years later and I still don't feel like I have the relationship with the school where someone's like, hey, yeah, we'll help you with your daughter. So, yeah, it'd be nice if someone addressed some of those things, but it was like, no one cared. The special ed teacher didn't care, the principal didn't care. And we ended up pulling her for the rest of the year, and she needed to be in school. But if I don't have that trust, what am I going to do? I did send her back the next year, but anyway, she's still struggling, so.
Thank you, Karen. Our last speaker of the evening is Beth Leggett.
Hi, Board. I'm Beth Leggett. I do come prepared to address what I wanted to talk about tonight. So that doesn't make me a smooth speaker, because I applaud West Elementary class for poise under pressure, learning at fourth grade, I think it was. So in presentation skills, we can all learn by that, especially myself. So I do thank the board and the school administration for sending out the school climate survey to parents, because I believe, if I read correctly, the survey was to go out to parents, not to students. And the parents were to answer that. So it's a way for, I think, the administration, if I'm not mistaken, to hear from the parents concerning the well-being of their kids, how they're being treated, how they're interacting. So thank you for being attentive to that and sending that out each year. And thank you for Kim for recognizing the achievement by the marching band. So proud marching band mom here, at least one marching band dad here. And just all the parents and all the support from school administration. We moved from 4th to 2nd. I just say, yeah, we're going to try on Jonathan, Kim, but they're like 5 points. I mean, they practice every day. It's pretty much, you can't do anything else except for being in band. So we'll try, but from 4th to 2nd was a big, big achievement. So proud of those kids. So, and I did want to thank the board for those who have served and who are rolling off or potentially rolling off. To you, Christy Buck, and also to you, Bob Wondergem, for serving your time and helping the board. We appreciate that. So. And I do want to encourage the current school board to finish strong up in these next few months here, and then and for the next board to embrace these words as well. I know there's a lot of people in this room that consider themselves Christian by faith, so this should be a familiar passage to those, and I think appropriate for those who have a different faith practice as well. So I just leave you with these words: current and future board, seek justice, love mercy, walk humbly. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you to everyone for your words tonight. They mean a lot. There's some items to follow up on. I made notes for Roger here, and he's taken copious notes over here as well. The next regular meeting of the Grandville Board of Education will be Monday, November 21st, 2022 at 7 p.m. right here at the Administration Building. We'll see you then. Meeting is adjourned. You're welcome.
Excelente.